This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Hey, family. I'm excited to see you again this week on this episode. And listen, if you have not joined the family yet, please do so. It's so easy. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. All you need to do is click this subscribe button and subscribe to the podcast, like the podcast, share the podcast. There you go. And become a part of the family. That's what I want you to do. So, family, we are going to jump into it this week. I have a message I want to deliver to you, family. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you living life as your authentic self? Are you being you authentically? Are you walking around through this life as exuding everything that God gave you? Are you exuding all of the things, the smarts, the funnies, the louds, the quiets, all of the things, all of the characteristics? Are you exuding those things that God gave to you, that He blessed you with? Are you being your authentic self, or are you shrinking for someone else? Are you shrinking, family? Because I am telling you, we ain't doing that. Y'all remember, and I don't know if you young enough or old enough to remember the chia pets. Because right now, I'm about to put some water on you, these little chia pets. And I think they even may have sold them at Walmart. And when you put some water on them, they start to grow. They start to get bigger. Well, that's what we're working on here today. We are getting bigger. We are expanding, family. All of us, one by one. We are expanding. And I am asking you to expand with me, to grow with me. Don't you shrink another minute or another moment for anyone else. For anyone else, for any other person, any job, any type of organization that you think that, you want to be a part of, any kind of group or clique that you think that you may want to be involved with, do not, any kind of business that you think you want to do, don't you shrink another moment for no one else, because you being your authentic self is what God created you to be, and that is where your prosperity and your abundance is going to come from. Living in integrity, in truth. So, family, here we go. I'll start it off because I'm hoping now you saying to yourself, am I living authentically? I don't know what Andrea talking about. Well, guess what? Andrea's getting ready to break it down for you. So, I'm wondering, are you out here people pleasing? Are you making decisions in life that are not really in alignment with who you are? They aren't really in alignment with what resonates with you, with what feels good to you. Are you just going along with what the people are saying or asking you to do, or maybe expecting of you just to keep them around or to feel worthy? To feel like a good woman, or a worthy man? Like, are you tripping over yourself, your true self, your authentic self, just to pretend to be something that somebody else wants you to be because you think that's what you should be, as if you winning a prize? When the reality is, family, if you're doing that, you are only creating more pain in your life. You're creating pain in your life. And let me tell you this, if you are out in the world acting as you are someone else, just to maybe be connected to, as I said, organizations or jobs or people or in relationships just to attract them so that they kind of, stay around. So you think that you're getting what you want. The reality is as you are faking, you understand that the energy that you put out in the universe is the energy that you will receive back. So if you've been faking, guess what, family? And they staying around with the fake you, then they faking too. So what I'm saying is, family, free yourself. Today, you are going to free yourself and you are going to show up in life as your authentic self. Bet on you, family, because I'm always going to bet on me. So bet on you. Okay, so how do we do this, Andrea? How do we do this? So let me just start off as first step that you're going to do is you're going to identify what are your values, not the values that somebody else put on you, not the values that you learned when you were a child, okay, when your brain was developing because of your parents who are around you, or maybe aunties or uncles who are around you, maybe preachers or priests or librarians, the influences in your life. If they didn't have healthy values and they kept telling you what you should value, then as your brain is developing as a baby, you start to take on their values as being the right values, the correct values to have. But what I am telling you, family, is right now, wherever you are in life, whatever your age is in life, I want you to do a self-check. What do you value? Ask yourself, what do you value? Self, Andrea, what do I value? Identify your values first, because what I have learned doing counseling now for over 15 years, working in the mental health field, private practice for 12 years, what I have learned is a lot of times as adults, we walk around carrying values, acting out values that other people put on us, but values that are out of alignment with who we are and how we feel and what we believe. But in order to correct that, family, because what happens is when you are living inauthentically, you will keep creating havoc in your life and you will not find happiness and you will not find peace. And I want you to find happiness, family. I want you to live in peace, in bliss, but it starts by you living your authentic life. So the first thing is assess, what are my values? Not what, my teacher told me her values were, or what my uncle tried to tell me what his values were, because you like, hey, I see how they done turned out in life. So what do I value? Now that my brain is fully developed, I didn't hit age 25. So now I can do an assessment. What do I value? Family, you're worth taking the time to figure this out. The second thing I would ask you is, after you figure out what your values are, I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up in the world? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Who, what is it that I want to do? Ask yourself. What do you want to? If you really want to drill down and you want to find peace and you want to live authentically, you have to identify who it is that you even want to be. You don't need to people please or, fake it for other people just to present in a certain way. Who do you want to be, family? Ask yourself. Let me tell you something. The only way to living an authentic life is to have self-knowledge, to know yourself. and to have self-awareness, to be aware of the things that you desire, to be aware of the things that you want, to be aware of the things that make you laugh, the things that make you sad. It's self-awareness and self-knowledge. Who am I and who is it that I want to be? So in order to be authentic, we have to know those things. And now we are going to act out these steps. Now we're on number 3. Here we go. Live with integrity. When I am my authentic self and I am not capping out here lying or people pleasing, trying to show up as something other than myself, I will live in integrity. I will be honest. Family, I want you to be honest. I want you to live in integrity. If you want to call people in your life who have integrity, who are trustworthy, it starts with you first. Remember, you attract what you are. We attract what we are. So if you want people to be in your life who have integrity, integrity, an example is people who mean what they say and then they say what they mean. If you want those people in your life and not people who are just lying just to lie and just saying anything just to get along with you, and then when they leave your sight, they acting like somebody totally different than who you know or who they were presented as. So you're believing one thing, right? You're believing that they're one thing and they like this and they enjoy this, but actually behind your back, they live in a total different life. Something very opposite of that, just because they didn't show up as their authentic self. Well, that's something that you don't want to do. I don't want you thinking that you have to show up in one way when you're in front of people, your friends, your family, your parents, your aunties, the church, the librarian down the street, Miss Walker that lives there. Don't you show up in front of them as one thing, and then when you turn your back, when you're out of their presence, you acting totally different. Because what I'm telling you, family, even if you do this and you think that, okay, this is easy for me, this is making life good and easy for me, you won't find inner peace and you will never find inner happiness, because you will always be putting on for someone else. You'll be living with a false sense of self, and you won't be you. You won't be you. And being you all the way around doesn't matter what it is, showing all of your strengths, showing all of your weaknesses. You being that at 100% is what's going to bring you inner peace and inner happiness that you're going to exude through life. If it's something, I want you to live in integrity. If there's something that someone presents to you, it may be a job offer, or maybe, as I said, an organization, and they're telling you that the reason why you need to be in this organization is because, maybe, it's going to give you this, or it's going to make you look like this, like you have your stuff together, and, you are going to look or appear as if you are, the upper echelon of the United States of America, and you're going to appear as if you've made it, and people will trust you more. And if that is you, if the organization is in alignment with something that you want, something that you enjoy, something that makes you happy, something that resonates with you, then you join. Okay, and then you'll get that benefit because it will be authentic. However, if none of their values aligned with your values, if they're the goal of the organization, if you don't really believe in it, then you joining that just to look and appear a certain way is only going to add to your anxiety, can turn into depression, and you will never find peace or happiness. So you say, no, no, thank you. No, thank you. There was this woman's organization that a good friend of mine told me. She told me some years ago, I think it was before COVID. She told me that, I really should join this woman's organization. And at the time that she told me to do it, I did it because she's a successful woman and she's smart, and she told me that's what I should do. So it was like, and she told me, like, in order, because I was trying to scale my business. And so she said to me, in order for you to scale your business, you need to be a part of this organization, because when I joined this organization, there were so many opportunities that opened up for me. And, like, this is the way, like, I love this organization. So she invited me to come to some of the events, and here I go, trying to join this organization. Now, hey family, come on over here, because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go any place else to look for your aromatherapy, because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. You can burn it, or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. So there you go. Family, don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right. I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side. Now, I am growing, family, and as I'm growing, I am changing, but I'm also embracing all of my changes. But let me just tell you, and I've told y'all about some of these changes before. You've heard them in interviews, or maybe while I'm here talking by myself, through my whole foot journey, I'm telling you how I'm growing and I'm changing, which is the reason for life. We should never be the same person that we were back then. Right now, years ago, yesterday. I want to be different than I was yesterday. And when I leave this earth, I'm going to be different than I am today. my point being is, I've told you in the past, like my maybe thoughts on friendships and how I've grown with friendships and I value friendships so much. Well, this is another thing that I didn't really value years ago, was being in organizations, because I am kind of like a standalone kind of kid. That is who I am. I am not really good at networking. I don't like networking. And I'm going to say networking, and I should really be careful when I say that, because I don't want to put that in the universe. I used to say that and put that in the universe, but I need to be careful. So I'm going to say networking in the traditional way. Traditional way meaning I'm walking into an event. I have a name tag on. There's 100 people in the room, 50 people in the room, let's say 50. And I am making sure there's a goal for me to meet every single person in that room before I leave. So I can give them my business card. I can tell them who I am. I can do my elevator pitch, and I get through the whole room. And then when I've left that little gathering, I am successful if I have let everybody know, who I am. So in that sense, that traditional sense of networking, that is not who Andrea is today. That is not who Andrea was back then. Okay? That's just not me. And it's just because I am a person who I love interpersonal communication. I love a one-on-one. I like a deep level conversation. I like deep level engagement. And as I just described, if you were to do traditional networking, like I just said, then you don't have time to do that with a whole bunch of people. And that's why that style of networking isn't for me. But what I do know is I have always I have always been successful just because I network just the way I network. And for me, Andrea, authentically, is not about me giving 100 people my card. But for Andrea, it's for me to connect with maybe one or two people in that room, in that sea of people, the 50 or 100 that I resonate with. So and I can have deep conversation and connect with you, and I get to know you. And if you're open to it, you get to know me. Like, that is who Andrea is. And that is authentic to me. And, I may not walk out of that room with all of those contacts where I can, call them back and email them and put them on the email, because that's just not who I am. But I've become successful by just engaging with one or two people, because you know what? God is always in the plans. So when I walk in with God, trust me, one of those connections is a connection that's going to take me right where he needs me to be. So, family, what I'm saying to you is, I was telling you the whole story about me joining this organization because my friend told me that I should. I joined the organization, I was accepted, and then after a year, I realized this organization is not for me. It didn't bring me any more business. I felt like I was working more than I should have been. Where I was like pitching and speaking. I was doing a lot, and I really didn't feel like I was getting a return on my investment. So I relinquished my membership and I stepped out of the organization. That was then. And I was being true to myself then. But now, as I've grown after the pandemic, some years later, 4 years after, right? 2020. Now, as I stand where I am in my life, I'm ready, because now I understand the value in it. I'm ready to go back in and to re-enter the organization again. So it's pretty much knowing who is it that you want to be, and then living with integrity. So right now, living with integrity, my truth is, right now in my life where I am ready to put myself back into this woman's organization. And that is what I'm going to do. But I didn't do it when it didn't feel good to me, when it didn't feel like it was good for me, just because it was good for my friend and she does super well, it serves her. But it wasn't good for me. But guess what? It's going to be good for me now. Okay, now live with integrity. Number 4, communicate honestly. When you're being your authentic self, communicate honestly. Come on now, when you living in integrity, say what you mean and mean what you say. If you don't want to do it, say I don't want to do it. If they invite you and say, come on, you're invited, then I'm going to decline nicely with love your invitation. If I have something else to do, then I have something to communicate honestly. Now, you don't need to be hurting nobody's feelings and saying, well, really, because I don't like y'all. Really, I don't want to be there. You ain't my kind of people. You don't need to do that. But you can communicate honestly. Don't lie. Even when you're in interpersonal relationships or friendships, communicate honestly. Who are you? And we ain't trying to be disgusting. We are trying to be fruitful and live with life and find happiness. So I want you to communicate your needs honestly. Communicate your wants honestly. Be honest. Communicate your desires honestly. Please do that. Number 5, be courageous. See, because that's what it's going to take, right? Doing all of these things, it's going to take courage. It's going to take courage. So yes, it sounds like sometimes when I'm meeting with clients and we doing some work, when they start with me on the first day, some of the things that, we may be working through that I may suggest, they'll say, Andrea, it sounds so much easier than it is. And I'm like, yes, but let me tell you something. Change starts one step at a time with courage. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time with courage. Because elephants, they got good memories. But with courage, courage, and patience. So I want you to be courageous. Come on now. Be courageous. God created you with purpose, and He created you in the way that He wants you to be. So my thing is, if you're loud like me, be loud, honey. Come on now. If you like to, I don't know, wear bright lipstick like I do, wear bright lipstick. If you want to wear long nails, short nails, high heel boots, do it. If you want to wear, you're a man, you want to wear sneakers with your suits, do it. Like whatever it is that you want to do, be you, be your authentic self. Have the courage to do so. And remember, all of this comes from self-knowledge. You need to know yourself and self-acceptance. When I accepted years ago, for years, people have always told me since I was a little girl, you are so loud. Or it really wasn't my friends, but maybe it was like their parents, would walk in the room and they'd hear my laugh and they say, oh my goodness, that girl is so loud, or someone else. This has just been, it's been a soundtrack my whole life. And, when I was younger, I used to feel some shame in that. When I was very, very young, I used to feel some shame in that. This is before I got into my 20s. I would feel shameful. And then, as I really start rolling out and accepting who I am, and I had this knowledge of who I am and what I like, honey, I am Andrea and I am loud. Absolutely. Oh, let me tell y'all something else. Talking about self-acceptance, and I talk a lot. I absolutely do. And let me tell y'all something. This is another thing, during childhood, if you are criticized, if you are praised, and if you are rewarded Those things shape your behavior because they teach us what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. And as a child, you want to please. You really want to please your nurturers, right? So if it's your mom, your dad, whoever's raising you, your grandparents, your auntie, like you want to please your nurturers because that's how life's order is. That's what it's supposed to be. They're our first teachers. So if they ever criticized you for acting out in some way or another, then you would not want to be criticized because then that would be hurtful to you. So you would change your behavior. You got me? If you were rewarded for some behavior, then what you would want to do is repeat that behavior over and over and over and over again. If you were praised for some behavior, then you would want to repeat that behavior over and over again because you want to be rewarded and you want to be praised. And parents do the best that they know how to do. So what I'm saying is this happens to all of us. And as I'm just going back to me growing up when I was a young girl and when I was just being myself, if I was too loud, then, I was criticized for being loud. So then, okay, well, I would try not to be loud. I just couldn't not be loud. But what I would do is I would feel shame after somebody would point out that I was loud. But now, honey, I own it. I'm loud. That's okay. And another thing is, all through childhood, all of my report cards through grade school, okay? I was a great student. I stayed on the honor roll. However, when my mother would get my report card, what was consistent was, I don't know if y'all remember, but we had the report cards. They had the 3 folds. You open up the 3 folds. And I'm not talking about one school, okay? I'm talking about 2 schools and several different teachers. 2 schools and several different teachers. And so usually grades were good, always on the honor roll. But then in that little square on the side where they had comments, the teachers would always say, she is a good student, but she talks too much. It was consistent, criticized for my talking. And okay, I get it. If you're trying to teach a classroom and somebody's talking and not paying attention, and maybe I was talking to somebody else, but I think them girls was talking to me, or them boys, they was talking to me. I was just talking back. But point is, right, I could see if talking could be disruptive in a classroom, but I get it. But I am just telling you, it was consistent. I was criticized consistently for talking too much. Well, guess what? I have a job today. My life's work, my purpose here on this earth is to use this mouth and talk. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? That is who I am authentically. God created me. This girl, this loud girl, okay, who is expressive and loud, okay, and pitchy. I've been called pitchy. Okay, I'm pitchy. I'm owning it, right? Who talks too much? God gave all of those things to me. Know your strengths and your weaknesses. So yeah. Now for a living, I get paid to speak loudly in churches, to speak and talk loudly at funerals, to speak and talk loudly at schools, who speak and talk loudly at corporations. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? To speak and talk loudly sometimes, not too often, in sessions, at coaching, on my podcast. Come on now. Living authentically, having the courage to be you no matter what nobody else says. And this is the thing. Don't you even think that you need to be somebody other than you to keep certain people, places, and things in your life. Because let me say this to you. If you being you does not keep those people, places, and things in your life, it's because those people, places, and things are not for you. Let them go. Let them go. Listen. Because you know who you need and what you need, and all that you need is God. Because he'll do it all. And that's number 6. Trust God. Trust God. He's got your people. He's got your places, and he's got your things. And he helped to create you. You understand what I'm saying? He sprinkled little dust on you, magic on you, and gave you all that you are, all that you have, all of your characteristics. God gave them to you. So stand up and use all of that. Don't you ever shrink for no one else. No one else. Because God's got your back. God is already setting you up. God has all the things for you. Abundance, prosperity. He's already seen the end of it, but he's waiting on you to be you. Stop fronting and acting like you somebody else. You don't need to please any people. The only person you need to please is God. And you please God by you being your authentic self. And let me tell you how you're going to do that. You're going to do that by number 1, family. You're going to identify your values. What are your values? Ask yourself, what do I value? Not somebody over there, not the church house, not that organization, not those people, not that clique. No, what do I value? Number 2, you're going to identify who it is that you want to be while you are here on this earth. Who do I want to be? How do you want to show up? That's what you're going to ask yourself. Number 3, you're going to live it out in integrity. Live with integrity. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Be honest, be truthful. Don't you show up in the world as a liar. Live with integrity. When you live with integrity, when you live in truth, that is who you will attract in your life. You will attract people who live in integrity in your life. We attract what we are. Anything you want more of, you need to be first. So you're going to live with integrity. Number 4, when you communicate, you're going to communicate honestly. When I'm being my authentic self, no cap. I ain't lying. I'm not pretending, and I'm not putting on. I am communicating my needs and my wants honestly. If I don't want to go, I am going to say I cannot make it. I don't want to go. Can't make it. I'm not going to do it. Stop doing things that you don't want to do. Communicate. Stop lying and saying what you like when you don't like it. If you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. Say no. Number 5, be courageous in all of these things that I'm telling you. Stand up. Have the courage to be authentic. It is a choice. Courage, because you will be making the choice every day to be authentic, and it takes courage. And when you lack in courage, number 6, you're going to trust God, because He's got your back. He is the Alpha, the beginning, and Omega. He is all things. And I told you, you do not have to worry about, once you are your most authentic self, people, places, and things falling off. You ain't got to worry about that, because through God, He's going to supply all of the people, places, and things that you need in your life. If you want to be happy, if you want to live a life full of peace, I am telling you, family, make the choice to be authentic and to live authentically. All right, family, I love you, love you, love you. That is another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. I'm your girl, and I will see you, family, on the next episode. I love you.